All right, so the foundational program is broken down into 3 steps. We're going to go through that here today. And this is what I wish somebody would have taught me at a much younger age before I went and spent 5 years in college studying things I didn't have any interest in, wasn't committed to. Side story, didn't buy a single book my freshman year at college, not one book I bought, right? That's crazy. That's no commitment. And what I think about now is I read recently that the average American spends 12% of their working career doing something they enjoy. 12%. That can't happen. I'm going to put this up here. I want you to remember this. 12% of their working career doing something they enjoy, right? Those people are not engaged in what they're doing. You certainly know that they are not maximizing their potential. And so that's what we're going to go through today. I want to help you identify, is medical sales the right thing for you? And so step 1 here. Step 1 is the medical sales aptitude test. This test is a series of questions. Again, it's not a passing grade. It's not A, B, C, D. What it is it's going to help you identify, hey, what are your strengths, number 1, and 2, do they match up with what it takes to be really successful in medical sales? Because a couple of things here. For you to advance in your career, be it medical sales or otherwise, you need 2 things. You need to have some curiosity and interest in the industry. And number 2, you need to have your skills and your attributes maximized in those places. If you are in a position or a career where your skills are not maximized, where your strengths do not come to the forefront, you're not going to be able to accelerate your career. You're certainly not going to be able to reach the potential that you're looking for. And so that's what I want you to use this for, is to help you identify, hey, what are your strengths? And Peter Drucker, he wrote a book called Managing Oneself. And in that book, he said, most people think they know what they're good at. Most people are wrong. So when you're going through this, right, it may be hard for you to identify, hey, what are your strengths? Because according to Peter Drucker, most of us get this wrong. So it's not going to be, hey, what does your mom think you're good at, right? Because she thinks you're good at everything. What this is going to do is say, okay, what are the things and the habits that you have? Do they match up with what you should be doing? Because ultimately, if they don't match up, you should probably go a different route. I'm reading a book right now called Winning. It's written by Jack Welch, who is the most famous CEO of our time. He ran General Electric for 20 some years. And when he came in to General Electric, into GE, the first thing he did was he looked at all of the things they did as a company and said, we are going to eliminate anything that we cannot either be first or second in. So any market, any product that we have, if we can't be number 1 or number 2 in that market, we're done. Not going to happen. And he cut a ton of products and markets that they were in and said, nope, we're going to focus here on what we can be good at. And that's consistent with all the things that you read from the most successful people ever, right? Charlie Munger, who's the billionaire business partner of Warren Buffett, he says, humans obviously only have a limited lifespan. And in that lifespan, we also only have a limited mental capacity. And so because we are limited, finite on years and on our mental capacity, we really only have the opportunity to master one industry. One industry. Now, there are a few exceptions, probably not me or you, people that can master 2 of them. These are the really strong, really elite, extremely intelligent individuals that can master 2 industries. Most people can only master 1. And so that's why it's so important to get it right, to make sure you're in the right industry. Do you want to be in healthcare? If so, is medical sales the right thing in healthcare for you? Because if not, you should go a different direction. But again, you only have that one industry that you get to choose. And so we got to make sure that you're choosing the right one, that you can be either, just like Jack Welch said, either number 1 or number 2. If you can't be at the top there, go somewhere else where your strengths are maximized, right? So once we go through this test, the answers are a little bit subjective. I get it. Use that sum total that you have as a barometer to say, hey, this is the right industry for me. I'm on the right track here with medical sales. Or I confirm like, yeah, I probably should go a different route. My strengths will probably be maximized elsewhere, right? So after we do this, we're gonna go to step 2. Step 2 is an ebook that I put together. It's called The 7 Key Traits of Ultra Successful Medical Sales Reps. Now I understand this is a little bit of a mouthful, but what that is ultimately is, what are the differentiators for the elite medical sales reps that separate them from the others? There's a lot of average in the world, especially in medical sales. And so this is not going to be, oh, you know, they know their product, they know their service, they have good relationships with customers. Those are not differentiators. Those only get you on par. These 7 things here are probably going to challenge you in a number of ways. You might read through a few of them and be like, oh yeah, that makes sense, or I got that. But there's going to be a number of these that are going to challenge you and your approach to medical sales. And so what I want you to use these for are a barometer. Hey, what are the ultra successful doing? And am I doing that? Because if your traits, your habits don't match up with what they are doing, then chances are you're not going to be able to recreate the success that they have had. And certainly that's what I am trying to do. And I've worked with and around people that are 7-figure earners in medical sales, you know. So I've seen what it looks like to be really successful. And I've seen the traits of those individuals. And it's different than the majority. And so that's what this is all about. But ultimately, step 3 is what matters most. This one is going to be the career acceleration worksheet. This right here is where the rubber meets the road for you. This is where most people struggle. They get this part, oh, I can take a test and see if I'm good, great. Then they move over here, step 2, oh, nice, here's the 7 key traits. Great, awesome, and then they go on with life, right? I think the most recent research that I was reading on the attention span of human beings, I believe is in the single digits of seconds. I think it's like 8 seconds, is the attention span of human beings. Okay, you cannot be ultra successful in medical sales and have the attention span of 8 seconds. I mean, that's just not gonna happen. What you must do is implement here in step 3. This is the implementation. This is where the money's made, right? Money's made. I'm gonna draw you a pot of gold here. Here's your gold. You got a rainbow over top, right? That is where the money is made, literally, in your career, for you to accelerate. This is gonna require that you do some serious, deep thinking, because you're gonna look at these 7 key traits and say, how do I implement those? How are those different than what I currently do? How are my habits different than the habits of those that are at the top that I'm trying to pursue? For you to fully maximize your potential and to be able to reach massive levels of success in medical sales, you have to be able to get here to step 3. Do some serious thinking about, hey, what is it going to require for me? I understand this can be difficult. Most people don't do this because it's so difficult. It's not physically difficult, it's mentally challenging to say, what do I actually have to give up to be good at medical sales? What are the most successful doing? Oh, that's different than what I do. They spend their free time differently. Well, a lot of people don't want to give that up. I understand, that's fine. You don't have to. I'm just offering this as this is what they do. And for you to implement that, for you to be able to replicate that, you're gonna have to look at yourself and do some deep thinking and say, okay, what do I have to give up to adopt those key traits? So that's really the difference maker. These are all important. Here is where you're really gonna maximize your career. And so that's the foundational program. The foundational program, I call it that for a reason. I like to think of my career, and I ask you to think of your career, metaphorically speaking, as putting together a building. You're building a structure. And so what is the foundation required for you to build a structure? Metaphorically, your career. If you want, a little single story house down here you go. Here's your single story house. You got your door. You might even have a couple windows here, right? That's great. What is the foundation required for this house? A couple of feet, assuming you don't have a basement, right? The foundation there is not large because it's not a big structure. It doesn't weigh a lot, relatively speaking, right? Here is what we're talking about. If that's what you're interested in, your foundation doesn't have to be deep. It's not going to take you a lot of time to build it. Conversely, if you want to stand out in medical sales, if you want to make it at the top, if you want to be elite, what would you have to do to build a skyscraper? And a family member of mine is the president of a construction company in downtown Chicago and builds skyscrapers. And I was talking to him about it. And he said, when they build a skyscraper, let me draw this out for you. This is not going to be to scale, just for the record. Here's a skyscraper, we'll call it something like that. Got these things up top. Yeah, that looks pretty good. What does the foundation look like for a skyscraper? I'll tell you right now that you have to drill down over 100 feet until you hit bedrock. So you've got a foundation here. You have massive steel beams running to bedrock. This is over 100 feet, right? So the foundation to put together a skyscraper cannot be more different than the foundation to put together for a single story house. And so I want you to approach it that way with your career as well. This right here is the difference maker, literally, in your career. If you're willing to put in the time, I understand it's difficult, I understand it's time consuming, and you have to give some things up to build that foundation. But you can't put a skyscraper on this foundation. It's not going to happen. You have to drill down 100 feet. You have to get to bedrock. You have to put together a massive foundation to be able to build that skyscraper, to make your career reach the levels of success that you're looking for, right? So that's, in a nutshell, the foundational program. Again, totally free. Just throw your email in there and we will send you all that stuff. A bonus thing that I'm going to do for you, I put together, or I did a live talk going over the 7 key traits here. And so I'm going to give that to you for free as well. I know that some people struggle reading in this world, right? Especially lately when you have the attention span of 8 seconds. People are not going to sit down and read. So I'm offering that as well for free. It's a live talk I did. Some people like the audio or video instead. And so I'll really be able to unpack those 7 key traits to help you better identify what those actually mean for you. So you'll get these 3 things. You'll also get that video. So that's the foundational program in a nutshell. Again, leave me feedback on it. Good feedback, negative feedback, either way. Let me know what you think. Let me know some of the challenges that you're probably going to confront as you examine these traits for yourself. So let me know how that goes. I look forward to working with you, and if there's anything we can do for you, you know how to contact me. Thanks.